Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I want to welcome you to this advanced About Time training for Foreman. You were given a manual by the session leader, so please use it to follow along. Also, have your device handy as I will guide you as to when to pick it up, and together we will practice using the About Time app. What is an About Time coach? Your About Time coach is someone who is available to answer questions after this training to help you become proficient with using the About Time app. The leader of this session will be the person you will call. Also, the About Time specialists in Phoenix are always available as well, so please get our Phoenix phone numbers from the session leader. We want you to call us with your questions. We are here to support your learning process way after this training. What is About Time? About Time is software that is used by Progressive Roofing to collect hours worked both from the field and office employees electronically and in real time. You and your crew will each see the total hours worked at the end of the day and electronically approve your time for the day. The employee is the only person creating his or her paycheck here at Progressive. Not only does the About Time app collect hours worked from the field, but you will have access to many management tools and features like using work notes to communicate with the payroll processors. You'll also have access to changing incorrect time records on your device for those who registered time on your device that day. You'll be taking location photos for historical reference and to use for disputes. You'll be creating field notes to communicate with your superintendent back at the office about the progress of the job every day. Next, you'll be able to monitor the budgeted hours for the job you are leading versus actual hours worked in real time. And this is in the About Time app, and you can access it at any time. You'll be using Forms Express to complete all required forms like daily safety forms, daily timeouts, weekly toolbox talks, equipment safety forms, or injury forms, to name a few. Then, About Time will navigate your drive to the job site by a simple push of a button inside of the About Time app. And finally, there is Assigned Assets feature. What are devices? In this training, refer to devices as Android phones, iPhones, or tablets. The key processes you will learn in this training and follow on a daily basis is first, you'll be syncing your device first thing before beginning the workday. And this is every day that you will sync before anyone clocks in because the information for your device is constantly changing. So by syncing, you will have all current information on your device to start your day. Then you will be setting the location on your job. The device will need to be set with the correct job you and your crew are working on before anybody clocks in. You and your crew each will be clocking in to start the day. Everybody begins the day by starting their paycheck, and that's why everybody will be clocking in. Next, you'll be changing the location and or task codes during the day. If you or your crew during the day change jobs or change the task you are working on, you will do this by clocking in again into the new job or task. Then we come to lunch. Everyone will be clocking out for lunch, and then after lunch, clocking back in. Progressive requires everyone to take a break each day for lunch, except if approved by management otherwise. It is important for your health and safety to rest the body. Then you'll be clocking out at the end of the day. That is each crew member and yourself. Everyone is ending their day by stopping their paycheck. Clocking out is a process that takes a few steps, but you'll have to be good at it to do it correctly and to train and coach your crew as well. And then finally, you'll be syncing your device after everyone has clocked out. And yes, this is every day. Syncing after everyone clocks out is very, very important because this is how all the changed records, payroll work notes, changes you make to time records, photos, field notes are all sent to the office to have the payroll processors receive your records and to file any of the information you've created during the day to the job folder. As foreman, you are accountable for assuring that each crew member is correctly clocking in and out. You will coach and instruct any new employees on your crew about the correct steps when clocking in and out of about time. Now, I want to show you the About Time app pin pad. So go to your manual and turn to page 2 and you will find this slide. When you open the app, this is your pin pad. You have the 10 key numbers. You have the C key, which is your clear button. And then this colorful button here next to the 0 is the sync button. When clicking this menu button down here, you are prompted with a window menu. The receive data right here will be your button to push to download new employees or new jobs set up by the office during the day. However, warning, if you press send data or send receive data, this is the same as syncing your device or pressing this colorful button here. If this happens, you will send all the time records that have been accumulated so far that day to the office. Now, this is not a bad thing, but at the end of the day, you and your crew will not have those records to approve, nor will you see the real total hours worked for the day. Now, what I'm going to do is switch over to the device, and I want you guys to pick up your device and work along with me. Now, let's go ahead and press the About Time app. There we go. Now you see here's the sync button. So here's a question, and answer this out loud. How often do you sync your device every day? That's twice a day, first in the morning before anybody clocks in, and second at the end of the day after everybody has clocked out. Next, I want you to click on this menu button here. As you see, it will take you to the menu window. Right here is the Receive Data button. Go ahead and press it. You see here that it is syncing, and what it's doing is going back to the office and getting the records you do not have on your device. When it finishes, now your device has the most recent information on there. And it takes you right back to the pin pad. Here I want to go back into the menu button. I'm going to press that, and you can see here we talked about the send data, send receive data. These are the two you do not want to press because it's just like syncing your pressing your sync button, and all your time records so far for the day will be removed from the device. So what I want you to do is press closed if you're in here and get back to the pin pad. Okay, now we are going to pin into the About Time app. So go ahead and put your 6-digit PIN in there, and it will come to the main menu. I'm just going to wait a second to make sure everybody's here at this main menu. So the main menu is made up of 7 managers. The first manager is your clock in and out. Then you have the location manager, employee manager, records manager, field notes, Forms Express, and employee groups. Now, a picture of this is on page 4 of your manual. So you can refer to that even after this training to become familiar with the main menu of About Time. So now at this point, I want you to put down your device, and we're going to get back to the PowerPoint presentation. We talked about the pin pad. We talked about the 7 managers that you have access to. So I'm going to take you on a tour of these managers, and at different times as we go through these, we're going to be working in the About Time app together. So make sure your device is put down, and let's watch the power presentation. The first manager here is the clock in or out. This slide here is on page 5 of your manual. So when we're in here, it takes you to the clock in and out window. Now there are 4 regularly used features besides just clocking in and out in this window that will make your use of About Time very efficient. So above the photo box, you will see your name and date will be up there. Then under the in and out buttons is the location that the device is set on right here. This first button here is the Forms Express button, which will take you to the Forms Express window, where you will complete all required forms like daily safety forms, daily timeouts, weekly toolbox talks, equipment safety forms, and injury forms, to name a few. Now, just as a side note, you'll notice in your main menu here, there is also a menu item called Forms Express. So you can access Form Express here or come into your in and out manager and you'll have it right here. Again, like I says, we've developed this in and out manager so that you can do a lot of things just by going in here for your day. The next button below the Forms Express is the Set Location button, and this is where you will press this to set the device job for the day. The device will need to be set with the correct job you and your crew are working on before anybody clocks in. And again, there's another place that you can set the location, and that's up here in the Location Manager. So to set the location, you can go in the Location Manager, or you can click this Set Location button, which will take you to the same spot. Okay. Below Set Location button, there are 2 icons. The left icon with the red pen is the Field Notes button, where you can create your daily job notes to your superintendent or branch manager. A side note, do not make any payroll-related notes regarding employee time records here, as payroll processors do not access field notes. And keep this in mind, and I'll explain to you why. Now again, this icon here is to access field notes, and if you'll notice, one of the managers of the main menu here is also field notes. Okay, so field notes and field notes. Finally, the right icon with the green check mark is the Approved Records window, where you can create the work notes and view and approve your time records for the day. Now, we talked about field notes, but right here, this icon here is your work notes icon. And this is where Foreman will send a note to the payroll processor regarding changes needed to be made to employee time records. Note, and this is a very important note, only put work notes on your time records. Do not put them on any of your crew members. The payroll processors will look for work notes only if they're attached to your name and your time records. Okay, so now we're going to stop here. I want you to pick up your device, and if you're not at this menu, then go ahead and pin in, and let's get to this menu here. I'll give you a minute to get to this point. Okay, so what I want you to do is now click this Clock In or Out Manager. So boom, open it up, and here we are. So what I want you to do, again, just take a look up here. This is your name, the date and time, and this is the job that my device is set on. So what I want you to do is go ahead and click the Forms Express button and see all the folders that you have on your device to access any of the forms that you need. Accident forms, employee forms, inspection forms. You see we got toolbox talks in English and Spanish, and vehicle inspection forms. Safety inspection forms here is a nice one for your aerial lifts and your forklifts. I'm going to click, just look up here and watch me. I'm going to click Safety Forms, and here's your daily safety forms for the type of roof you're working on. These need to be done every day. Then you have your timeout that also has to be done today. I'm going to click the Toolbox Talks English, and right in here are all the toolbox talks. You should do a toolbox talks every one time a week. And you can see right now we've got about 33, 34 toolbox talks on there. And if you want Spanish, I'm going to click Spanish, and there are the forms toolbox talks in Spanish. Okay. Now, if you do not have these folders on your device right now, just hold on, and later on in this training, we're going to download those folders onto your device. Now, what I want you to do next is press back. And then I want you next to click Set Location button. And you can see a list of all the jobs that have been dispatched to your device. These are the jobs you have access to so that you can set the device for the job you and your crew are working on that day. Okay, go ahead and press back, this back button up here. And next, I want you to click on this left icon with the red pen for recording your field notes. Now, field notes is what you communicate, again, back to your superintendent or branch manager to summarize the progress you made on the job that day. We'll review this a little bit later in the training. We're not going to go into how to do this. So next, we're going to go ahead and press back. Next, click onto the right icon here with the green check mark to get to the Approved Records window. And you can see for me, I'm roofer test 3. I clocked in, and this is one of my records. So what I want you to do next is go ahead and just press accept to close that window. It'll tell you no 0 records have been approved, and you'll be back at the main menu. So let's go ahead and let's just stay right here, and let's go ahead and put our devices down, and we're going to go back to the PowerPoint presentation. Okay. All right, we are going to go to the next slide here. All right, we're going to move now from the clock in or out manager down to the location manager. Now the location manager has 5 sub-menu items: set location, location information, task budget, location photos, and assigned assets. So first, we are going to take a look at here, set location. And this is where you would go to set your device up for the day so that everybody on your crew that clocks into the correct job. Now you'll see above set location, you can, this is the job that the device is currently set on right now. So if that's not the job that you're working on for the day, this is where you have to go into set location, okay? Now the blue down arrow means that this is a main job or a parent job, and it has extras underneath it. So if you're looking for an extra under a main job, all you do is just tap the blue arrow, and another window will pop up and display all the extras that have been dispatched to your device. Okay. Next, we're going to go into location information. So under this submenu, you will see the address of the job site. Now, if there's no address in the location information, this means the office has not entered the address in the system. But if it's in there, you simply tap the blue address, and About Time will bring up the navigation window. So all you do is tap Drive and Go for directions to the job site. Very simple, very, very simple. Next, the third item in your submenu is Task Manager. This is where you will see all the budgeted hours that have been estimated for the job, including, which is this line here, including the accumulated hours worked on the job so far. And we'll practice that in a minute. There's a couple more columns you can't see over here, but it's very rich with information. Then we're going to go to location photos. Under location photos is where you will take pictures during the day of key production points. We suggest that 5 production photos be taken each day so your superintendent or branch manager can see the progress. This is also very important because if there is ever a customer dispute, we can use your photos to defend your workmanship. And why we mention that is we have an example that happened in Phoenix where we had a customer call and said in their lobby area there was a leak, and they were pointing us to being at fault. Scott Manning went to the control center of About Time, went to the job information, and was able to find the photo that the foreman took of that area. And it was very obvious the field guy's workmanship was up to par, and the leak was not due to our error. He submitted those pictures with some explanation to the customer, and that was the end of the story. Nobody had to go out to the job site. Nobody had to write a big dissertation because the pictures told the customer everything. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to divert away from the PowerPoint presentation, and I'm going to ask you to pick up your device, and we're going to do some practicing. So right here is the main menu. So what I want you to do is go ahead and press Location Manager. The first line of the Location Manager window shows the job up here the device is currently set at. So my device is set up for this job number, and the job is called Yellowstone Justice Center. Now to change the job, all we would do, and do this with me, is go ahead and tap Set Location. Okay, so now I want you to watch me do this. Now I can scroll if I want and find my job, or up here in the filter box, I can type the name or number of the job that I'm looking for. So I'm going to type the number 5117-7-02. Oops, not a slash, a dash, 7-026. Okay, there it is. Like I says, you can always type the name of the job. So I'm going to type CU. Let's see, what was the name of that job? Hold on a second here. Conflicts. So here, CONF. So I'm finding the same job by just typing the name of the job in there. So you can see it's very, very easy. If you have a lot of jobs dispatched to your device, that's a real quick way to do it. Now, the blue arrows here, again, watch me what I'm doing here. When I press the down arrow, it shows all the extras that have been assigned to me. Now, if you are looking for an extra under a main job, that's all you would do is press that down arrow, the blue arrow. Another way to do it, I'm going to press back to get out of the extras. Another way to do it is just type the extra number. So my extra number I'm searching for is 5032. Boom. And there it is. It's very, very simple. So what I want you to do is press back, this back button here. And I want you to get back to this Location Manager submenu. Next, what I want you to do is click here on Location Information. Now, as you can see, my job has a device as an address to it. So if your job has an address on it, go ahead and press the blue. If yours doesn't, just watch me up here on the screen here. So I'm going to press it, and the navigation tool comes up. And you can see for me to get from Arizona up to Montana, it's going to take me 17 hours and 40 minutes. All I would do is press go, and she would direct my drive all the way to the job site. Okay, so let's close. If you're in navigation, let's close out of that, and then tap your About Time app icon. And I'll take you right back to location information before we went into the navigation tool. So go ahead and click back, and you should be back here at the Location Manager submenu. So I'm going to wait a minute to make sure you all are at this place here. Okay, next I want you to go ahead and tap task budget. Now at the top of this window, it shows you the job that you're looking at. So under the Set Location button, there are 3 tabs. Right now, the gray tab we're in is the Hours tab. Then we have the Units and Summary. There's only 2 tabs we really use right now, and that's Hours and Summary. So first, let's talk about Hours. Under the Hours tab, all the task codes that have been assigned by the office to this job are listed. What the estimators have budgeted in total hours are also listed by task code. Now what I want you to do, and then here, this column here is the accumulated. So we're looking at real-time hours. So any hours that have been accumulated to this job through yesterday is all updated in this information. So what I want you to do is right in this area, anywhere in this section here, just lightly put your finger on the screen and leave it down and then kind of shuffle the screen over. You have 2 more columns that were hidden behind because your phone's not wide enough. So we talked about budgeted hours, accumulated hours. You also have plus or minus hours, which is over or under budget. So you can see the red here is not a good place to be. And then the percent complete column. So it'll tell you for each task code what percentage complete you are. You can see by 128.82%, you're way over budget. So looking at this here very quickly, for this task code here, and what do we call that task code? Drive time, they estimated 72 hours. We accumulated through yesterday 92.75 hours, so we're over budget by 20.75 hours. Now this is nice by looking at all this information from the field by task code. It's good to look at, but a lot of times you just want to get right to the bottom number. So what I want you to do is tap this Summary tab, and you'll see you'll highlight it and it'll open it up. Down at the bottom, it'll give you in totals, a total of all the tasks. We budgeted 1,467.75 hours. Accumulated so far is 1,079.5 hours. We have 388.25 hours left, and this job is 73.55% complete. Okay. So you can see I am using my finger on the screen just to see if there's any hidden information over to the side. I'm going to tap Hours again, and I'm going to move the screen back and forth. Okay, so next what I want you to do is go ahead and press back. Now after this training, if you have additional questions about task budget, your session leader will help you with that. Next, what I want you to do is go ahead and click on Location Photos. Now let's just stop right here, and I want you to put your device down and watch the PowerPoint presentation. I want to go through the PowerPoint presentation of how to do it, and then we're going to practice it on the device. Okay, so this is where we're at, Location Photos. When you want to create a new photo, you press this plus sign here. Then what happens is this Add Photo box would come up. So you would click Camera from the Add Photo prompt to activate the camera. And then this tells you that camera is activated. You can go ahead and take your picture. It'll ask you, do you want to use the photo or do you want to retake it? When you press Use Photo, the Edit Location Photo window comes up, and it has two boxes in here. The top box is for image title, and the bottom box is for description. So you go ahead and you fill that in, both boxes in, like image title. We want you to use things like if it's regarding the progress of the job and taking photos of the job progress during the day, call it location. If it's a safety related issue, you title it safety. If it's regarding equipment on the job, title it equipment. And if it's regarding like concrete damage, you would put concrete in there. And let me talk about concrete damage. We end up spending a lot of money because Progressive Roofing is always accused of breaking concrete driveways or sidewalks. So when we take lifts over a concrete surface, they assume that we cracked it and we spend money to repair it because we take care of our customers. What we want you to do is take a picture of a concrete sidewalk, let's say, with the lift coming toward it. And then after the lift goes over it, take another picture from the back side of the sidewalk and the lift going towards the job site. And this is important because the pictures are time and date stamped, and time meaning to the second. And if we ever have an issue with that, say a GC calls us and accuses us of breaking it, if those pictures are in there, we can prove to them that we did not do it. So that's a little bit about image title. So when you're done with this, you press the Done button. And just what's really nice about Time is when you sync at the end of the day, the photos will all be sent to the office. So you don't have to do anything. You take the picture, you fill in the title, you describe the picture you're taking, and it's filed permanently in the job file in About Time. Okay, at this point, we're going to practice on our device. So I'm going to show you my About Time app. So you should still be here at this location photo screen. And I'm just going to show you. Just stay right there. If you're not there, if you're here in the location manager, then what you want to do is press location photos to get you there. Okay? So what I want you to do is go ahead and press the plus button. The add photo box will come up, and we're going to use the camera to take a picture right here and now. So what I want you to do is find something to take a picture of here in the room and take your photo. As you can see with mine here, it says, do you want to retake it or use it? I'm going to use it. And in the image title, I'm going to tap that, and I'm going to type location. Whoops, location, photo. So go ahead and type whatever you want in there, or go ahead and type location photo with me. And then I'm going to tap in my description box, and see this little microphone button? Watch this. I'm going to press it. This is a picture of my pencil box with all my pens and pencils organized in one location, period. So I'm going to read it and make sure it understood me and it looks right. So now what I want you to do is go ahead and talk to text describing your picture. I'm going to hold up a second while you do that. Okay, if you didn't know what to put in there, you can say test photo. When you're done, up here, press your done button, and you can see About Time has your photo in here. Now, I want to talk to you, look up here on the screen, I want to talk to you about these two icons here. This spyglass icon, you tap that and it'll open up your photo again. So watch me do this here. I'm going to highlight my photo. I'm going to tap the spyglass icon, and there's my photo and pictures. So say I want to do an edit on there. I just want to say location. I don't want to do location photo. So I'm going to just back up, erase that, press done, and you can see it changed it. The title was location photo, and now it's location. So you can go back into your photos and make edits if you need to. You can also just take photos and then say at the end of the day, fill that in if you want for each photo. Everybody manages their time differently, but that's an idea. The second icon here is a sync icon, and you don't need to do this to send your photos to the office, because when you sync at the end of the day, the photos automatically are sent back to the office and filed in the job folders. But if you're in a situation where your superintendent or say safety, say there's a safety issue and you took photos and they wanted to see the photos, then what you would do is simply press the sync icon here, the sync icon, and the photos that are in here will go back to the office right away. And within a half hour, they should be able to see them. But that's only do that if you want to, or only do that if someone at the office wants to see your photos right away. So again, you have your spyglass here that will open up the photo so that you can do some edits. Got to highlight it and open it, press done when you're done, or the sync button, and I'm not going to push that. So now what I want you to do is put down your device, just stay right here at this screen and put it down and look at the PowerPoint presentation. So if you want to learn more about photos after this training, there's a detailed instruction at the back of the manual that you have. So you can go ahead and do some practicing, because I'll show you in a few print screens how you can delete photos so you can practice and delete them. Okay. Also in the back of the book, there's a special section on field notes and Forms Express, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Now, on the following slides, there are special instructions on how to take a job picture on your device to email it to either your superintendent, branch manager, or customer, and then save it later in About Time. Many superintendents want their foreman to take job photos throughout the day and email it to them. Here is a way to accommodate the superintendent's request, or customer as a matter of fact, and save these photos in About Time. And just as a side note, you cannot email photos from About Time from your app. You have to take them on the phone, email them, and then bring them in. Now, all job photos are to be saved in About Time for future reference. There may be a customer complaint, there could be legal actions or quality inspection issues that these pictures will help the office defend our roofers' work. So after you email the photo, you'll want to follow these steps to save the photos in About Time. So what you're going to do is you will tap location photos and just watch the prints here, and then we'll practice, okay? You come up to this thing, same location photo window, click the plus sign, After you click the plus sign, then you tap Add Photo, in the Add Photo box, you tap Select from Library, then it'll go to the camera roll, and then when you tap the camera roll where all your pictures are, so you simply tap the photo that you want to save in About Time. After you tap it, the Edit Photo box will come up for you to fill in the image title and description. After you complete that, you click Done, and then you'll be back at the Location Photo box. Now, what you've accomplished here is you've both emailed your photos to whoever needed them, and just through this process that we just went through, you saved them in About Time. Then when you sync at the end of the day, your photos will come back to the office and be filed for historical data in the About Time Control Center. Now, what I want you to do is I'm going to pull up my device here so you can watch. And instead of creating it yourself, let's just watch me do it. So I'm going to press the plus sign here. I'm going to create a new photo. I'm going to pick it from my library because I took it on my phone, on my device. Now I got to get it into About Time. My photo is in Live Photos box here, so I'm going to tap that. I'm going to tap my photo that I want in there. My image is Safety. And then I'm going to talk about my safety issue. These three individuals are on stage, and the stage is not properly set with fall barriers around the edge of the deck, period. I notified the hotel and they are correcting immediately, period. Okay, so I know it didn't read me correctly, so let's read here. These three individuals are on stage and the stage is not properly set with, I don't like that, with border barriers around the edge of the deck. I notified hotel. Okay, so it looks good. I'm going to press Done. Now, in my sample here, you can see it keeps adding my photos to the top. So the earliest one that I took was the bottom one, and the most recent one is at the top. And you can see here, it kind of separates my photos by title. So my first one was Location, Safety. Now, if you're taking 4 or 5 or 6 location photos throughout the day, you can do location 1, 2, 3, 4 to number your photos for easy tracking, whatever works best for you. Okay, so we're all here. So what I want you to do is we're going to delete our photos. So what I want you to do is right here is where I'm going to put my finger. So I want you to put your finger, well, let's do it on the one that we did get together here. Go ahead and lay your finger lightly on that line and swipe it to the right, or I'm sorry, to the left. And this delete button comes up, and then all you do is press it. I'm going to delete my safety photo, so I'm going to swipe my finger to the left and then press delete, and it's gone. Okay, so you should have no photos on your location photo window. So then go ahead and press back to get back to the submenu of your location manager. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint presentation, and let's see here. So we talked about delete. Let's just review it. So when you want to delete your photos, say you take one and you decide you don't want to use it, all you do is take your finger, lay it lightly on the line, swipe it to the left, your delete button comes up, tap it, and bam, it is gone. Okay, so this is where we were on your device. So the last line item in here is assigned assets. Now, we do not currently use assigned assets here at Progressive, so we won't talk about it in detail. But as you can see in the example up here, up on the top of my location manager is the job I'm working on. And when I press Asset Manager or Assigned Assets, it pops me to the next window. And this is the job I'm working on, and it'll give me a list of equipment that's delivered out to the job site. This is something that will be coming within the next 6 to 8 months, or I should say middle of 2018. Okay, so what I want you to do is go ahead and press the back button on your device, and you should be, let me get my device up here, and you should be back here at the main menu. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the slide and watch the PowerPoint presentation with me. The next manager is Employee Manager. And in the Employee Manager, the tabs lines are employee information. There's nothing in there. We don't keep any employee information in about time, per diem, and assigned assets. So let's talk about per diem. So I'm going to show you, don't do this on your device, just put your device down and I'll demonstrate this on my device. So I'm going to go ahead into the Employee Manager, and as you can see, per diem, I'm going to tap that, and me and my crew member both clocked in on my device. So let's say I'm entitled, both of us are entitled to per diem. So I'm going to tap my name, tap my crew member's name, and you can see the check mark comes up here. I'm going to go ahead and press Approve Per Diem, and that record for today will go back to the office and will show up to pay per diem. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in the control center of About Time here. So give me a minute here and I'm going to pull this up for you. Okay, let me show you what it looks like in the control center of About Time back at the office. So you see when those records are checked, when we process payroll, the names of the individuals entitled to receive per diem are colored here in this aqua color right here. What we do back in what the payroll processors do, they will be checking those records to make sure that per diem is authorized before they process it for payment. So I'm going to tap my per diem again. And I do not want that, so I'm going to go ahead and tap, uncheck it. I'm going to tap Approve Per Diem. And you can see I'll go back in there. We are not asking for per diem, so I'm going to press back, and that is per diem. The second item is assigned assets, and just like with the location manager, we do not use assigned assets, but if we did, this would be where we would have assets assigned to us as foreman. I'm for 3, and this is where my assets would be listed. So I am going to take you back to the PowerPoint presentation. Okay. We talked about assigned assets. Next, I'm going to go into Records Manager. This is going to be a real important one for you guys in the field. And as I talk about it, you'll understand why. Under Records Manager, you have Allocate Time, Approve Records, and Spot Check. The first two we really don't use, but Spot Check is going to be your best friend. So when you tap that, what comes up is everybody that has clocked into your device will be listed here. And this is why we talk about, and we repeat talking about, never syncing during the day until the end of the day, because if you accidentally sync, these records would be gone. And we would want you to have access to those records throughout the day. So just as a little spot check thing here is the work notes icon here, the clipboard. Now, we talked about work notes. This is notes from the foreman back to the payroll processors on points related to any changes that need to be made on crew members' hours. Again, do not use field notes for this purpose because the payroll processors do not read field notes. But if you go to page 8 of your manual, you'll see more information on work notes in this slide. Another really cool feature with Spot Check is how to change time records for you or your crew before you sync at the end of the day. And let me give you a couple of examples of what this would be used for. You would use this to, like say for example, I'm going to go back a screen. Maybe you're looking at your crew members and you tap on, and let me show you, when you tap on their name, it populates this information here and tells you what location, which should be the location that the device is set, or the task that the employee or crew member is working on, and yourself. But let's say, for example, everybody clocked in and you did not set the device for the right job number. So I'm going to show you how you do this right on your device in Spot Check. So in this example, there's two people, myself and my crew member. So I tapped each line, which created this check mark. Then I went ahead and pressed Actions button. And when you press the Actions button, this Actions box comes up. So what we're going to do, since we need to change location, I'm going to tap Change Location. The Set Location box will come up. So I'll go ahead and I'll filter or swipe. I'll find the job that I need to change those records to, and it'll do both of them because I checked both of them. And I can tap, and since I need an extra, I'm going to tap my parent job, and then I'm going to push the down arrow, which will open up the extra box, and then I'm going to tap the extra. And when you tap the extra or the job you want, About Time automatically takes you back to this spot check box. And you can see here our names are there, the check marks are gone. There's no information populated in here. So what you want to do is double check your work. So next what you're going to do is you're going to tap the first name and look and see, yes, the location changed. Then you're going to tap the second name. The information populates up here. You double check it and it's correct. Okay, so it's very easy. Once you practice a couple times with it, it becomes very, very easy. Now you can also change task codes. And what's really important with this, and I'm going to go back, what's really important about this is you can check, and if you told your crew members what task to change, to select when they clocked in, you can double check their work here. Boom, boom, tap, tap. And if it's wrong, then you would follow that process and simply, when you, like right here, back here, when you press this Actions button, then all you would do is go ahead and change the task and follow the process the same way. When you change these records, what's really important that you understand is when you sync at the end of the day, these changed records will come back to the office for us to process early the next morning. If you do not sync, we do not get those changes. Now, we talk about work notes that you can tell the office to make changes to those records. Like if you want your crew members' task changed, you can tell the office through a work note. You could tell if it's the wrong location, you can tell the office to change it. But if you want to do it yourself to make sure it's right, it replaces sending us a work note. Okay? So at this point, I'm going to ask the session leader to pause this recording and help you practice on how to change time records in Spot Check. Okay, so now you've had a little practice on changing records in Spot Check. So next we're going to go to field notes. All right. Field notes are for the foreman to communicate with the project managers, the superintendents, or project coordinators, anything regarding the job during the day. Now, if you look at the last several pages of your manuals, it'll give you detailed instructions how to prepare field notes and some samples of how to do that. But what I want to show you here is in the About Time app, there are two places to find field notes. The first is in the main menu, Field Notes button right here. And the second is in the Clock In and Out Manager. Right here, this bottom left icon with the red pen right here, that too is field notes. Okay, so there's two places that you can do field notes. Makes it easy for you. Next, I want to show you, this is a real example taken from one of our top progressive field foremen. And this is the information he sends back to the office every day. I mean, every day. He does not miss a day. The only time he doesn't have one in there is when he's not working. Okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to pick up your device. Let me get my device on here. I'm going to take it back. You should be here at this main menu. So what I want you to do is go ahead and click on Forms Express. Now from this menu, what I want you to do is go ahead and click on the blue Get Templates button. And as you can see with my device, it's updating your forms and getting all the forms that you need on here. You might want to try to do this on a regular basis, weekly or monthly, to make sure you have all the current forms on your device. If I'm going to create some forms and new forms, I will notify your leads, which is your superintendents or your branch managers or the branch admins, that there are new forms on there, and they will get the message to you. So what I'm going to ask your session leader to do is to pause this recording at this time and have you practice completing some of the forms. What I want you to do in the practice, just look up here on the screen. I want you to go into Safety Forms right here. And I want you to finish one of the daily ones. Pick any one. And I want you to finish the whole thing so you get a feel of what it's like. And then I want you to complete a timeout form. Let me just real quickly show you something here. I'm going to click on the timeout form, and you can see the information is all in there to complete. I'm going to just back out. Also, I want you to go into Toolbox Talks, English or Spanish. I'm going to tap English, and I'm going to just take a look up here. I'm going to tap on electric safety form, and I want you to tap these things and practice and see how they work. You can see up here, when you see these little boxes like this one here, it talks about GFCI. When you get these little boxes, make sure you scroll in these little boxes to make sure you're reading all the information. Okay, there's signature boxes. Fill in the signature box, like this one has a signature box. Just put my name down there. Okay, you can see my signatures right here. Everybody has to sign it, so Ben, you can see Ben's signatures right there. I'm going to tap Save, and I'm going to go to my Forms tab, and I'm going to look at that form. See, you can see I can go back in there and complete more forms. You can see my signatures there. Ben's form is there. I can email it. There's the form. You can see page 2. You can see our signatures are there. So I can go ahead and I can email them. When I'm done, press that and done. I'm going to tap it and I'm going to delete it. Okay, just a little quick browse together of forms. So I'm going to ask the session leader to go ahead and pause and come back to me after you get a little practice in. Okay, I hope you did a little practice with Forms Express, and I just want to tell you, when you're at home or you have a quiet moment, go ahead and practice. As you could tell, it's easy to delete them. The more practice you get, the more familiar you get with it, you'll find that your speed increases immensely. So feel free to practice. Also, refer to page 19 of your handout. There is a multi-page step-by-step process on doing forms, the exact steps that you need to follow. So please refer to that after this training to become proficient with it. So what I'm going to do is ask you for the balance of this training that we'll be watching the PowerPoint presentation and will not be practicing on the devices. Then after the end of this training, your session leader will do some practice clock ins and outs so that you get familiar with that process. So what we're going to do, now that I mentioned clock in and out, we're going to talk about clocking in and out. So as foreman, the first thing that you're going to do before anybody clocks in is sync your device, this little button here. You'll press that button. We suggest you do it before you leave for work or as you start your truck. Go ahead and sync it so that when you get to the job site, your device is fully synced and ready for everybody to clock in. So, So what you do is you put in your 6-digit PIN. The next box that comes up is your main menu. We've been talking about this throughout the whole training. So you go to the clock in and out menu manager, And then right here, if this is not the job that you're working on, you can set the location here. Tap Set Location. Go ahead. I want to be changed to Tinker Air Force Base. I'm going to tap that, and you can see I made that change on my device. Go ahead and press. Before I press in, you want to make sure your picture is clear. And I'm going to make a couple comments about this. You don't want any light coming from behind you. You want all the light coming in front of you so that we can see the full features on your face. Second of all, what I want you to be doing is, if it's dark, what I want you to do is everybody get their cell phones or stand in front of a lighted area where there's a light so that you can see your photo. No dark pictures. Also, make sure you do not have any facial coverings. In Phoenix, we cover up quite a bit to protect from the sun. So remove that in the colder areas. Any barriers that you put on your face to protect from high winds, make sure that's removed. We also ask that you remove sunglasses. Okay? And make sure you instruct your crew members as such as well. Once you have a clear picture of yourself, go ahead and press in. Next comes up is the task code box. So you select the task code that you're working on for that day. And then the next window that comes up is a summary. So you can verify that, yes, that is my location. Yes, that is the task that I'm working on. And if everything looks right, you press accept. If not, press cancel and start over again. After you press accept, then go ahead and About Time will tell you you've successfully clocked in. Then you can press OK. I want to make a suggestion. If you do not have a signal on your phone, About Time registers the information on the device, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay? So when you press OK, then you'll be at the pin box ready to pass it on to your crew members. So after you clock in, tell the crew what task code they are to select during the clock in process. Now you are accountable to assure that they are clocking into the correct task code that accurately represents the work they are doing for the day. Okay? And again, coach them. If they are not sure of the clock-in process, especially if they're new, watch them. Build up their confidence, because the sooner they know what they're doing, the faster you can pass that device around and get everybody to clock in. Now, as a sidebar, I want to talk about work notes. Earlier, we talked about doing work notes in Spot Check. When you clock in, there is a work note icon here that you can click and create a work note. There's also another, when we talked about this in the beginning in the In and Out Manager. This icon on the bottom right-hand side opens up to the approved records, and that there is the work notes icon that you can create. Now, these notes are from the foreman back to the office on points related to hours and time. Nobody else sees these notes. Only the payroll processors see them. Work notes are only between the foreman and the office and are to be on your time, not any of the crew members' time. So it's very, very important. And I want to talk about an example, because this happens in crews a lot. The foreman has to, before he goes to the job site, he needs to stop at the shop and pick up supplies. So he dispatches his crew and he tells his second-hand man, call me when you're ready to get started. So when the second-hand man calls, of course, they can't clock in because you're not there. So the second-hand man calls and says, okay, we're at the job site. The foreman looks at his clock and sees that it's 7 o'clock. So what he does is he comes in here, goes into the clock in and out manager or spot check. On the approved records tab, he taps the work notes record or icon here, and the work note box comes up, and he basically says change the time for the crew to 7 a.m. So when you get to the job site, say at 10 o'clock, you have all your crew clock in, and when this note comes to the office, the payroll processors will change every crew member from 10 o'clock clock in to 7 a.m. as you have instructed on your work note. Another cool thing is when you're doing work notes, remember this little hint. Like we were doing with the photos, press the microphone here and you can talk to text to make it faster for you. Okay? Now, all communications in work notes replaces phone calls and emails. Again, do not use field notes because the payroll processors do not read field notes, only use work notes. Now, if you're in service and say, for example, that you're dispatched to an extra, but they have not put the extra yet into about time, all you would do is go ahead and enter your time, start your time for that parent job, and create a work note and say, change this time record to extra number such and such, and we will change it back at the office. You can also change it in spot check, like we talked about when we practiced. Okay, so work notes are to notify the office of any missed information, changes to jobs, numbers, or task codes, or changes of times as in the example we talked about. Now, once you've clocked in, it's ready. The device is ready for your crew to clock in. Remember, do not sync your device after this process because when you sync, all those records will be removed from the device and you want them there at the end of the day. Next, we're going to talk about how your crew members clock in. So you'll have them go ahead and pin in using their 6-digit number. Make sure they don't touch the sync button. What will next come up for them, and as you can see, they don't have a menu like you have. It gets right to the clock in or out window. Teach them to make sure their picture is clear and visible, and make sure you explain to them to remove anything that's covering their face, and make sure the lighting is right. Once they get that and their picture looks good, they press in, and then they will select the task that they will be working on as you had told them. Show them that once they tap the task code to check, is this the right job? Is this the right task? And as with you, if it's not right, they can press cancel and start over again. If it's correct, boom, they press accept, and About Time will tell them that they've successfully clocked in. Again, make sure they do not sync the device or you'll lose the time records. Next, I want to move into crew members clocking out. So you'll want them to clock out for lunch and again, clock out at the end of the day. There's only 2 clock outs a day, for lunch and at the end of the day. So it's a little bit lengthier than the clock in, so that's why you need to pay attention to these details. Go ahead and have them pin in. The window box will come up. Make sure it's clear. They would press out. Next, the approved records window will come up with their clock in and out. So if it's for lunch, it's only going to be 2 records. If it's at the end of the day, it'll probably be 4 records. Their first clock in, their clock out for lunch, clock in after lunch, and then clock out at the end of the day. So what they're going to do is review their records, make sure that they look at the bottom here. They can see how many hours they worked. Okay. Next thing that they're going to do is we need to have them approve their records. And you can see here there's no check marks by the records. So the next thing that they're going to do is press all. They're not going to press accept. They're going to press all to get this check mark in there. This is what we see back in the office, and we want to know that they've approved their time. Once they see that check mark, they press accept. The signature window comes up. So they go ahead and sign their name. Click on the green check mark. The company disclaimer comes up. They can go ahead and read that, press agree or disagree. Hopefully they press agree. Now what will happen after they press agree, About Time will tell them that they've clocked out successfully. Okay. When they press OK, the next window that comes up, it will tell them how many records were approved. Teach them not to press OK because they need to hand the device over to you because you want to make sure they've approved their records. Okay. Next, what I'm going to show you, and then what you would do is you press OK and then get back to the pin pan and hand it to the next crew member to clock out. What I want to show you is what if this says 0? So if any crew member has 0 records approved at the end of their clock out period, I'm going to show you what you need to do. You need to give the device back to the employee and have the employee follow these instructions. So what they're going to do is you'll hand over the device, they'll pin in again. And when they get this Windows clock in and out window, they're not going to press out. What they're going to do is press this little icon down here. They tap that, then their records will come back up. They're going to click the all. They can double check the total hours worked. They're going to press accept, sign, click the green check mark, and you can see here, boom, it'll say you successfully clocked out. You press OK, and they'll see the number of records approved. But don't let them press OK because you need to make sure that they have done what you've instructed. Only you should press OK. Okay. Now, this is what you need to do. The next time this crew member clocks out, watch over his or her shoulder during the entire clock out process until you are confident they are able to clock out correctly without your supervision. They need you to coach them, and you got to make sure they're good at it because the faster they are and the less mistakes that you're going to have to correct. And you can see they have to pin in. If they didn't do it right, they have to pin in and go through the process again. So you want to watch them. Now we're going to talk about your clock out, both for lunch and at the end of the day. So what you're going to do is go ahead and click onto your clock in and out manager. The in and out window will come up. But before you clock out, if you haven't done your field notes, you can go ahead in this bottom left icon with the red pen, click that. Your field notes window will come up. Go ahead and fill in your field notes. Okay. Then when you're done, you press back, and then you go ahead and press your out button. The approved records window will come up. You can see the total hours you worked that day or before lunch. Then you want to click all to make sure this check mark comes in here to approve your records. Then you press accept. The signature box would come up, sign your name. Go ahead and click the check mark. Then your disclaimer will come up. You click agree. Then it'll tell you, About Time will tell you that you've correctly clocked out. And when you press OK, it will tell you how many records you approved. Okay? So you need to sync every day at the end of the day to send all your time records, work notes, any changes you made to time records, your photos, and field notes back to the About Time Control Center at the office. And that completes your day. Next, I want to take you to a feature that is not, well, it is accessible to through the About Time app on your device, and I'll show you how. But first, let me talk about Web Clock. What's great about Web Clock, it's a place for foremen and crew members to go to access their time records going as far back as when you started recording your time in About Time. So say, for example, at the end of the day, if and you help your crew members understand this. If for whatever reason they want to check, they forgot how many hours they worked, when they get home, they can get on their computer and they can go to www.abouttimetech.net and they can clock in there and look at the hours they worked today, yesterday, the past week, the past month, whatever. So let's talk about how that's done. So you go to the website, and when you open the website, this pin in or this entry screen comes up. So this is where you would enter the email that you've been given and the password. So when you enter that information in, you tap clock in. Log in. And the next window that comes up, you're already in the web clock. You tap this time review and approve icon. And then in here, you would go ahead and put your date range in here. It could be today's date. It could be the week, whatever. I'm going to, in this example, we did from March 6th through March 11th. Once you get your date range in there, you don't have to do any of this stuff. You just press go. And all your records for the day show up there. You want to use the scroll bar if you have a lot of line records, especially if you're looking at a week's worth of records. And it'll give you for your date range up here. You can see in this example here, I have from the 1st to the 12th. I wanted to see 12 days. So it'll show you how many regular hours you have and how many overtime hours you have. Now from the screen, one of the things I want to say about this is if you do not sync your device at the end of the day, if the employee goes home tonight and wants to see his records for today, he will not see them. And you're to instruct them if they want to see the hours, they need to call you directly to sync your device. So let's alleviate that and make sure you sync your device at the end of the day. Now another way to access Web Clock is right from your app. So right here in the menu button, if you tap that, right here is the Web Clock. And as you can see, it comes up with the same entry window, login window that you saw in the browser on the computer. Okay, so with that, I want to thank you for sitting in on this training. I want you to call your local office if you have any questions, and remember, there's a lot of information here, and we're here to coach you through the next week or so until you become proficient at About Time. Also remember, those of us here in Phoenix, the About Time specialists are always available to help you. So we will coach you during your learning process. I'm Judy Coker from Phoenix, and I want to thank you for taking this time.